Practical Tactical.
Welcome to another edition of Practical Tactical. Today's episode is for the Burris XTR2 MOA rifle scope owners out there. But if you have moderate computer skill or access to about any 15-year-old, you can build on it and use this information for other turret adjustable rifle scopes. Now, having said that, I do plan on producing other videos that target other popular scope models eventually, so please be patient and I will get to it. The focus of this video is specifically on the elevation turret, but I will also be producing videos for the windage turrets, so you might want to subscribe now so that you'll be in the loop when these other videos are released. With that out of the way, let's get on with it. Many of us have at one time or another considered purchasing a scope with a BDC compensator of some type, some in the reticle and others engraved into the turret knob itself. If you purchased a Burris XTR2, you are more like me and prefer to float your own bow. You probably appreciate the flexibility of tuning your come-ups to the load you're running and the atmospheric conditions in your area. What I'm going to show you today is the fastest way I know of to put that information right where you need it, on the elevation turret, and in a way that you can quickly change as you refine the values from real-world experience, or if you change the ammunition. In the description field of this video, I have links to turret label images that you can download and edit to suit your own ballistic values. So go ahead and click on those links and save those images to your computer. When the image opens in your browser, just right-click on the image and select Save As, and save the image to somewhere on your computer where you can find it. One of the images is a sample with values for reference and to give you some ideas about color preferences. Feel free to change any of the colors on your version to suit your own preferences. The next thing you're going to need is the ballistic drop table. If you already have that information, great, so go ahead and use it. If you don't, let's go and open up JBM Ballistics on the internet. When it opens, the first thing you'll do is select your bullet from the list. You may need to manually enter some of the bullet values, like bullet weight. Enter your muzzle velocity. For elevation calculations, we don't need a wind value, so I'll set that to 0. Next is to set the distance increment. It defaults to 100 yards, but let's set that to every 5 yards. I'll leave it up to you to refine any other parameters. For now, let's go ahead and calculate. You'll see a column here with the drop values in MOA. We're going to look for the closest distance that correlates to each whole MOA click on your scope from 1 to 24. We can see the drop is 170 yards for 1 MOA, so let's add that to our scope turret label. We'll start by opening the turret label image you downloaded earlier. Just navigate to the image you download, right-click and select Edit, or just open the image with Microsoft Paint. Scroll down to the 1 MOA mark on the image. You can select any contrasting color you want, but I'll use white for now. To enter our values, we need to open the text tool, so go to the top of the screen and click on the letter A icon. The font size is 72. Make sure you select Arial Font and select Bold. We'll click where we want the text for 1 MOA distance and resize the text window. Type 170, and we may need to reposition a bit, so do that if you need to. Okay, back to the JBM window and find 2 MOA. In this case, my example is 215 yards. Back to Paint. The text tool should still be our active tool, so just click in the space for 2 MOA and type 215. Reposition if you need to. Scroll down a bit and back to JBM. Let's find 3 MOA. 3 MOA is 260 yards, so back to paint. Click at 3 MOA and key in 260. Reposition if you need to, and scroll to 4. Back to JBM. Now it gets a little interesting here because there is no exact value for 4 MOA on the example I'm providing. We'll have to take a guess at where we think 4 MOA is between 295 and 300. I'll call it 297. By now you get it, just repeat for all remaining values, and I'll fast forward for now. For 23 minutes, I'll use 795 yards. For 24 minutes, I'll use 813. At this point, we better save our changes. You can hold the Control key and run your mouse scroll wheel to zoom out to see the whole image. Now go ahead and print yourself a copy on 8.5 by 11 paper, and use Fit to Page and Portrait Orientation on Print Preferences. We'll test the printed image size and make sure it fits for your scope. If the size isn't quite right for you, you can adjust these handles in the corner. Make the handles bigger to make the printed image smaller, or make the handles smaller to make the printed image bigger. You can use my little zigzag pattern to keep track of your scaling adjustments. Print as many copies as you need to as you refine your sizes. So now that we have our printed copy, let's cut out our label. I'll be using scissors, but you'll probably get a cleaner cut if you use an X-Acto knife with a straight edge on a cutting board. We'll want a really clean cut right at the line for both ends near 0. That way we get a really clean overlap. Now let's test our scaling. We can see this is lining up real nice. If yours doesn't line up, then adjust the image handles like I showed you earlier in this video, and try again until you get it right. Now it's time to tape this ribbon to the turret. For that, we'll be using Scotch tape. The tape will hold the ribbon in place and waterproof the ribbon fairly well, even if it's only printed on paper. At this point, this is easier to do if we remove the turret from the scope. When we get working with the tape, we don't want the jagged sawtooth edge, so let's use our scissors to get a nice clean cut. To get started, we just want a small piece of tape, so I'll stick it to my finger and cut off a short piece. On the end with 24 MOA, we'll stick the starter tape with about half on the paper. Now we'll start wrapping the turret. I think it's best to line up 0 on the turret with 0 on our label, but you don't have to. Now we can tape the ribbon all the way around. It's nice to have good sharp eyes and an extra pair of hands for this, but if you're patient, you can do it by yourself. Again, we'll use scissors for a nice clean cut on the tape. Since the tape is wider than the label, we'll need to trim that off. A good sharp X-Acto knife will do a nice job here. Again, good sharp eyes would be nice. Once we have it trimmed nice and neat, let's put our elevation turret knob back on. Hold it down to set our zero stop and tighten the set screws. There we go. Now we just turn the turret to the distance we're shooting. Well, sort of. And we'll get to that in future videos, but at least we have our baseline. I hope this helps, and thank you for watching Practical Tactical.
Don't forget to subscribe.